I think what many people are not focused on in the inflation statistics are the housing numbers, and they get in there with a long lag. We think that the shift or the concentration towards just a very few stocks, which was a very unhealthy bull market, that is changing and the market is broadening out. And I think deregulation is probably one of the most important things that this administration is doing to unleash animal spirits.
Cathie Wood begins her analysis by addressing the market's resilience. Amid a storm of macro headwinds, rising geopolitical tensions, trade disputes, policy discord between the Fed and the White House, and persistent inflation fears, while many anticipated a breakdown, the opposite has happened. The S&P 500 continues to climb, which she sees as a powerful sign of long-term strength and structural durability beneath the surface. And before that, be the one who says I was here before 100K. I'm on a mission to hit 100K subscriber before 2025 ends. Help me get there. Subscribe now and drop your thoughts on the market in the comment. Let's win and grow together.
Well, I think we have been climbing a wall of worry. I mean, a lot of people expected tariffs and wars and the controversy between the Fed and the president to really shake markets up. And of course, there has been some volatility. But these are the kinds of bull markets that I think are the most durable. When the market climbs through all of that controversy, it's really signaling something. And I think the things that it is signaling are interest rates probably are coming down. And I think what many people are not focused on in the inflation statistics are the housing numbers, and they get in there with a long lag. We think that the shift or the concentration towards just a very few stocks, which was a very unhealthy bull market, that is changing and the market is broadening out. And I think deregulation is probably one of the most important things that this administration is doing to unleash animal spirits.
You know, you talked about the inflation picture and interest rates. We just had another guest on the broadcast that said the opposite, effectively. Said, look, the economy is humming. It's doing quite well. They wouldn't touch interest rates if possible, and they don't think that they will be.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I think we've been pretty consistent on this idea of we've been through a rolling recession. If you look at housing, which is actually having a little bit of a relapse today, housing plummeted in 2022 when interest rates shot up, and it has not recovered. Manufacturing has not recovered. And so we do believe that they will recover as interest rates come down, deregulation takes hold, some certainty about tax cuts and so forth occur, including immediate expensing, perhaps, of capital goods, which would be very positive. So we think we'll move from a rolling recession into a recovery. But what happens early in a recovery, if you'll allow me to call this that. I know many people think we never went into any kind of slump, but we have sector by sector. What typically happens when you come out of a recovery is productivity kicks in because companies have been very conservative and especially amid all of the uncertainty. So productivity kicks in and actually drives inflation down much lower than anybody anticipates. And I think that's going to happen this time as well. Well, I think what happened, and this could be considered a conspiracy theory, but, with Trump and Musk so close at one point, and with China, President Trump's primary focal point when it came to trade negotiations at the end of the day, Tesla's plant in Shanghai became a leverage point. So I think they've separated naturally. Now, I think it went a little overboard in terms of the drama. And I think the same is true today. I do think that Elon Musk is getting back to business, and he does want to transform transportation, continue to transform space exploration, really address some incredibly difficult health issues with Neuralink. And introduce productivity the likes we have never seen with humanoid robots. So I think at the end of the day, he'll become very focused on those very difficult problems, and this too shall pass.
Do you think that he's going to be out there effectively financing folks, financing campaigns to primary individuals who vote in favor of this bill? And if he does that, and whatever time and attention that takes, and whatever you think about the politics of that, does that impact Tesla or any of the businesses or other ventures that he's pursuing?
Well, I guess in terms of dependence on government, SpaceX, I believe, has $22 billion in government contracts, and really has catapulted the U.S. into the lead when it comes to space exploration. I don't think the president that formed the Space Force wants to change that. And in terms of transportation, of course, we've got a patchwork quilt of 50 states from a regulatory point of view that have to bless autonomous travel. We were thinking and still think that will move up to the federal level. So maybe that's in question very short term, but we think it makes sense for the United States if we want to be number one in autonomous travel. FDA is another consideration when it comes to Neuralink. You know, I think what's happening is pretty miraculous if you've been following Neuralink. And the FDA, if anything, I think we've been most surprised by the deregulation that is taking place within healthcare and the desire of the leaders in healthcare to really either cure disease, get rid of chronic conditions. So, you know, Elon Musk is contributing to that cause as well. So, I'm sure there's political tit for tat. That's how these things work out. But Elon Musk is working on the largest AI projects in the world, the largest projects in the world. And I don't think longer term he wants to be thrown off really transforming the world.
Cathie explains that ARK's investment process starts with rigorous quantitative screening, focusing on companies with high return on invested capital ROIC and strong earnings quality. This isn't about hyper-momentum trades, it's about identifying durable innovation. Once those fundamentals are established, ARK applies thematic filters looking for companies positioned at the intersection of transformative trends expected to unfold over the next 5 to 10 years. The goal: align with long-term macro and demographic tailwinds, validate the thesis with data, and stay invested with conviction.
There's generational trades to be made. So in the 80s, retail was a boom because women were entering the workforce. And retail stocks were the best performing subsector for 20 years, actually doing almost 160,000% return. And then in the late 90s, 2000s, the big story arc was internet, which is thematic because anybody who made money in retail would have thought the internet was a terrible idea. And so young people bought the internet story arc, and internet stocks have been amazing. And social media was the next wave. So we said, let's think about the themes that drive markets for the next 10 years. And we created a research portfolio called Granny Shots, which identified these 7 important themes. And we update that every year. But that initial theme-based portfolio was labor shortage, because in 2018, we said there was a global labor shortage coming, which equals AI. We said there'd be concerns about cybersecurity that follow that, which was another theme. Energy security was another theme we thought about, because we said, you know what, people are going to want to secure their power supplies. It's actually more important today with AI. And we looked at monetary policy, the business cycle, and then we layered in some tactical and style themes. So these were the basis for what we said, like, this is what drives investing. And then we said, okay, let's find the best stocks in each theme. But if you buy the best stocks in each theme, then you're hanging your hat on a single idea. So we said, let's be like Rick Barry. Let's do a correct physics basketball throw underhanded. It's the correct physics way to do it. It doesn't look sexy.
Hence the granny shots.
Correct.
That's the what, because you're talking about the underhanded free throw. Yeah.
And it doesn't look great, but it makes 90% of the shots. So we said a granny shot is one where a stock is tied to two themes, because now you're not sort of saying I'm putting it all into AI or all into cybersecurity. And ideally, it's 3 or 4. So our granny shot says a stock to be included has to be at least in 2 themes. And we end up with 35 stocks of the S&P 500. And we're saying the other 465 are good, but these 35 are tied to the 7 most important themes driving the stock market. Well, the 7 themes really are sort of the most important starting point, because we're like, this got to last for 7 years. And we got to figure out who the winners are. So we find and make a list of stocks tied to those themes. In other words, the strongest names for any single theme. But that is including what we call DQM. So we do a quantitative analysis. We're not buying junky stocks. We want to make sure that they generate earnings and high ROIC. But then the process of ticking off and saying, are you in 2 granny shots, is actually mechanical after that, because we have siloed portfolios of 60, 70 stocks each. And sometimes we wonder, wait, are we going to end up with like 5 granny shots? But we always end up with like 30.
All right.
And we rebalance every quarter. But it is very fortunate. And it starts to pick up some really important themes. Like when we started to think about millennials, then it had us focus on things like Robinhood. And, NVIDIA, because of labor shortage, was included since 2019. And Tesla was an AI automation play at the time. So Tesla and NVIDIA are examples of, we told our clients, these are granny shots. Don't think about trading them because they're tied to really important story arcs.
Cathie Wood continues to demonstrate why she remains one of the most forward-looking investors of our time. Her approach goes beyond conventional analysis, connecting macroeconomic shifts, technological breakthroughs, and long-term structural trends. Whether it's AI, energy storage, genomics, or space exploration, she isn't just following the market, she's shaping the conversation around where it's going. Her disciplined focus on data-driven thematic investing offers a framework for capturing transformative change without getting lost in short-term noise. *, you won't believe what's next, click and see.